Right now, for more is Representative Adam Kinzinger. He's a Republican member of the Congress from Illinois, and he's with the No Labels Problem Solvers Caucus. Congressman, thank you for trying on this one. I would like to ask you about two issues which I think can be dealt with quickly, but I want to go to the one that people think is complicated. I don't think it is. Immigration. Every country in the world has a work permit to work in that country. I can't go to Swaziland tomorrow and just move in and start running a business. You got to get permission. So you should have permission no matter how liberal the system is. I think we have to all agree every country has a right to limit to some extent who comes in the country. And it doesn't have to be discriminatory, just the numbers. And then to say, if you're going to work here and not become a citizen, you get a work permit. If you want to become a citizenship, that'll take longer. You have to do more work to do it. You have to learn the language and everything else we have to do, or learn a language. And here's the question. Why is it so hard? Can't they just do that? Why do they have to talk about walls and deportations when what the real problem is? Illegal hiring is a magnet in this country for people to come here. But once they're here, nobody really wants to throw them out unless they're felons. So can't we agree, or does both sides want the issue?
No, I think you can. And I think, you know, if you actually, the way you phrased it, and when you talk about kind of a comprehensive, it's gotten a bad rap, but a comprehensive reform to immigration, including border security, making sure that's important, figuring out what to do with those here and finding a system that works on the work side of it. It's an 80% American issue. So I think, you know, right now it's kind of contentious in terms of we had the build the wall thing, and then, you know, it was just contentious on both sides. I think when it settles down and we kind of take a deep breath, that's an issue we can attack. But I think there's a lot of big issues we can attack first, and I think we're going to have a really good opportunity to do that. Well,
12-foot walls lead to 13-foot ladders, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody thinks there's a wall high enough. The Chinese wall didn't stop anybody. Let me ask you about this other one. I do think it comes down to hiring. People come here for a job if you can get one legally. My view is paper everybody that's here now with work permits, no more deportations except for felons, give people work permits, but if they want to become a citizen, they got to get in line behind the people from Poland and everywhere else that want to come here. Anyway, that's my Chris Matthews theory, which I think makes sense. Let's talk about infrastructure, because we have a almost $20 trillion GDP. We're getting close to that range. What would we need in terms of a real Make America Great infrastructure campaign? What would it take?
Well, I think you're going to have a bipartisan buy-in on this. And this is why I think it's so important to say, okay, well, Republicans, you know, we took the chamber out here. We have the presidency now. We can't just focus on running only our agenda through. We're going to have to reach across the aisle. Because on infrastructure, we can all agree that, you know, look, it's in the Constitution that it's the role of the federal government to provide post offices and post roads, which is obviously infrastructure. The problem is, how do we pay for it? And I think there's really ways to get this done, whether it's bringing some of the corporate profits that are parked overseas and taxing them at a lower rate, or even things like having grown-up discussion about how we're paying for that infrastructure in terms of revenue collection. I think if we get some courage out here, and a lot of people have courage, but we're going to need some big courage to tackle these big issues, and I think it can easily be done. We just have to be willing to do it.
How do you overcome the fact that Republicans don't want to spend money and Democrats aren't trusted to spend it? So nothing gets done.
Yeah, it's kind of a huge problem. So that's why I think, look, you have to be honest with the American people. So, you know, if, for instance, we have a program where we're spending money, we need transparency to show where it is. I think we have to very aggressively try to get rid of. And you have all these different programs that are redundant. Let's combine them together. Let's make government effective and efficient, and I think we'll earn the trust of the American people back.
I like to see people want to see what gets built. They don't want to just hear you spent the money. And the problem with the Obama stimulus package is nobody can think of what was built. It sort of gets peed away, if you will, to use a bad phrase. Anyway, thank you, as Congressman Adam Kinzinger of Illinois, trying to bring people together.